Coming up on this edition of the Newsfeed, Blacksburg residents are tired of the behavior and disturbance caused by traditional tailgating on Center Street, but Virginia Tech students are not quick to give it up. Plus, Montgomery County has installed an electric car charging station, one of less than a dozen in the New River Valley. And trick-or-treating is back for Halloween this year, as are many new protocols. Those stories and more just ahead. Hello, and thanks for joining us for this edition of the Newsfeed. I'm Cameron Booza. It's college football season, which means for the Hokies that Center Street tailgating is back again. However, as the attendance rates have spiked this year, there are groups of people making movements to take it down. Newsfeed reporter Callie Sullivan has more on the story.
Tailgating at Center Street has been an unofficial staple for Virginia Tech students for decades. A small neighborhood comprised of a few streets and old brick houses behind Stadium Woods turns into a quick sea of partying Hokies of all ages on game days. However, not everyone is a fan, and some local neighbors to the party have had enough.
We've met with the town, and we've spoken at town council meetings, and we've written copious letters to Virginia Tech and to the town to either severely limit the size of it, to control it, or to shut it down completely.
Rebecca Paulson is the executive director of the Friends of Stadium Woods. She runs a Facebook group where she posts videos weekly of evidence of tailgating students disturbing the woods. She shares the tailgate has too many people, is too noisy, too trashy, and doesn't meet the town's guidelines. However, even as there are many efforts being made to restore Blacksburg's peace and quiet, students and alumni are not so quick to let go of their tradition.
Don't take down Center Street. We need this. This is all Virginia Tech has. We look forward to it every week. School is stressful, and
Go Hokies!
Go Hokies!
Exactly. If I came back and it wasn't here anymore, it definitely would break my heart, because this is just a part of life, and this is a part of my college experience, and it really keeps me coming back year over year.
Neither the town of Blacksburg nor Virginia Tech have yet to make an official statement regarding the status of Center Street's lifeline. Reporting for the Newsfeed, I'm Callie Sullivan.
The newest electric car charging station in the New River Valley was recently installed here in Montgomery County. This charging station has 2 ports, allowing 2 cars to charge at the same time, and is one of less than a dozen located in the NRV area. The charging station becomes one of 2 stations in Montgomery County, with the other charging station being located on the Virginia Tech campus. Before the addition of local charging stations in the area, it would take hours to drive to a station, charge your vehicle, and drivers would then lose that battery driving home. A local Tesla owner used to have to drive so far, he went back to driving a car with a normal engine.
I think having a new charging station is definitely helpful around here, because in fall 2020 when I moved here, I saw there was only one charging station in Roanoke, and then it's a good thing that they installed one. That's why I always brought my Honda to campus, never brought my Tesla.
Abrar also says charging a Tesla at apartments is difficult, and having more charging stations installed across the state provides an incentive for people to invest in electric vehicles. Draper Road is in the early stages of undergoing a full makeover, with the government and citizens working together to improve the street. This is part of the town's desire to make a more diverse and accessible downtown. Newsfeed reporter Jonas Buckberg has more on the story.
The redesign of the street is part of the Blacksburg Downtown Strategic Plan. The town is calling this renovation the Draper Road Streetscape Project, and it seeks to bring more character and vibrancy to the downtown area. The Blacksburg community has played a large part through public input meetings and surveys to decide on what they want the final vision of the street to be. Some of the things the town would like to see added to the street is more room for outdoor dining, pedestrian walkways, and bike paths. Businesses and customers have become more acclimated to the early changes of the street so far.
Once the street was closed, people felt a lot more comfortable coming out, getting their coffee, or standing at the door getting their coffee, and then being able to sit outside at a safe distance.
Surprisingly, COVID-19 did not have a completely negative impact on the road or the rest of the downtown area. It was able to give citizens a little sample of how it will function in the future once the project is complete and what the components of the road may look like.
And we kind of talked about this internally, that I think if it wasn't for COVID, we never would have closed the street and put up 2 huge tents and said, deal with it. Let's try it. You know, we never would have done that.
Currently, the consultants for the project are reviewing 4 options for how the street will look combined with public feedback to come up with a final plan which will hopefully be completed by winter of 2022 with the hopes of finally completing the entire project by the end of 2024 or 2025. Reporting for the newsfeed, this is Jonas Buckberg.
Just ahead on the newsfeed, Castle Coliseum welcomes back winter sports fans as long as they're masked. And there are new guidelines for trick-or-treating around the New River Valley. That story and more after this break.
If you need to do something to feel okay to drive, you're not okay to drive. Don't drive buzzed.
Welcome back to the newsfeed. I'm Cameron Booza. Over the years, trick-or-treating has been a popular event in the town of Blacksburg as local small businesses take part in annual festivities. These Halloween festivities were put on pause in 2022 due to COVID-19 and its restrictions, but things are finally starting to look up this Halloween season. Newsfeed reporter Rory Ayler has more on the story.
Last year, Halloween festivities in Blacksburg were shut down due to COVID restrictions, but there are still concerns regarding the COVID variants, but the CDC has announced it is safe to trick-or-treat. Halloween is back this year as mask mandates have been lifted. The Center for Disease Control decided that last year wasn't safe enough for children and suggested everyone stay home. Blacksburg has traditionally been a town that has local businesses come together to provide a fun, family atmosphere for the holidays. McAllister's Deli is allowing kids to eat free this weekend if they're wearing a costume. McAllister's store manager Sean Brown understands the importance of community during the holidays.
Only way we get through all this as far as COVID and everything is together. I know they say social distancing and whatnot, but there's some people out there struggling. So anything that we can do as far as to help out the community, such as offer kids free meals, I mean, that's huge. Because I've got kids myself, and you don't want them to suffer.
Neighborhood trick-or-treating will be back to relatively normal circumstances this year. While there are still concerns with different forms of COVID variants, the CDC is confident with new booster shots being available soon that the spread of the virus can be monitored. Events taking place this weekend include Blacksburg's annual Trick or Treat event at the Blacksburg Rec Center. The event provides Halloween games and costume contests for children. The CDC has recommended that children who trick or treat travel in small groups. Back to you, Cameron.
Thanks, Rory. In other news, when Virginia Tech first opened their doors in 1872, they were only open to white males. As time progressed, they opened their doors to everyone. In the 1920s, they allowed for women to attend, and in 1950, they allowed black students to attend. Throughout the years, Virginia Tech has had a full past. One of the ways the campus displays this is through historical markers, and Virginia Tech's campus has been introducing new markers this fall. Here's Mackenzie Roberts reporting more on the story.
The Historical Markers Committee is committed to preserving Virginia Tech's history by showcasing it on markers around campus. The markers that are standing right now, the most recent ones, can be seen around Upper Quad. There's around 4 of them, but they plan on making many more markers around campus to display and showcase Virginia Tech's diverse history.
It's factual information and pictures highlighting Virginia Tech. Dr. Wallenstein, member of the Board of Historical Markers Committee, speaks on the upcoming plans for the next set of markers.
The set that hasn't gone up but will in the spring, should in the spring, that I'm very much involved in, is going to take these kinds of things, pretty much the same template. So size, a smaller font so we can actually put more script on there. And they're going to go various places across campus.
Some of the markers showcase the unique architecture VT holds. Michael Douglas, architecture student, speaks on the Hoagie stone that is discussed in one of the markers.
It is currently being taken out of its third/second quarry. Obviously, most kids who go here know that it's mined locally. It's a limestone that's from the actual Blue Ridge Mountains itself.
The committee will be placing other markers across campus. They plan on displaying more markers such as the oldest building on campus and the first female. This is Mackenzie Roberts reporting.
The arrival of cooler weather signals a favorite time of year for many sports fans as winter sports season quickly approaches. Castle Coliseum hosts many of these athletic events at Virginia Tech, but Hokie fans will have to remain masked indoors while they cheer on their teams. Virginia Tech announced in a press release Tuesday that masks will be required regardless of vaccination status for all indoor events scheduled inside Castle Coliseum, including events like wrestling matches and men's and women's basketball games. Proof of vaccination or a negative test will not be required to attend. Masks have been required inside of this venue this fall during volleyball matches and will continue throughout the winter. This announcement is in line with the university's COVID-19 guidelines. Virginia Tech student fans anticipated this announcement before the winter sports season, but are determined to not let it impact their spirit.
The game experience will be affected too much by fans having to wear masks. We've been doing it well for the past year and a half. We're doing it for class, for going out to restaurants and whatever, and I think it'll be just okay. Castle's a pretty cramped environment, and it makes sense that it's the safest option for us.
Virginia Tech's press release notes that these efforts are intended to mitigate the impact of COVID-19 in the region among those who are traveling to and from events while continuing to address the growing challenge posed by evolving variants. The university continues to reevaluate public health data with the hope that cooperation will bring about the normalcy fans remember at sporting events. That will wrap up this edition of the Newsfeed. If you have a story idea for the Newsfeed, let us know. Send us an email at thenewsfeednrv@gmail.com, and as always, you can connect with the Newsfeed on Facebook and Twitter. Thanks for watching. I'm Cameron Booza.